Okay, so today we're going to do a revision on division involving 1, 0, and 10. Okay, so we know that division is closely related to multiplication. In fact, division is the reverse process of multiplication. So it is important for us to know the times table for 0, 1, and also 10. So if you can see here, right, the times table for 0, so if you take a look at the 0 times table, we can see that any number, right, that gets multiplied by 0 will become 0. So you see 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0 times 3, 0, 0 times 4, 0, 0 times 5, 0, all the way, right, all the way to 12, right, 0 times 12, 0, right. Everything, all the numbers that gets multiplied with 0 will turn 0. Now, what about 1? Well, 1 is all the number, right, that gets all the number, right, that gets multiplied by 1, they all, you get back the same number, right? So you have 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 5 is 5, etc., right, all the way to 12. You get back the same number. Now what about 10? The 10 times table. So for the 10 times table is that for the so what you get is, okay, so for this one, the first one, of course, 10 times 0 is 0, right? Because any number that multiplied by 0 is 0, right? We can see it from here also, right? Any number that multiplied by 0 is 0. So yeah, so and for this, you can see 10 times 1 is 10, 10 times 2 is 20, 10 times 3 is 30, 10 times 4 is 40, 10 times 5 is 50, 10 times 6 is 60. So any number, when you multiply by 10, you will get the number itself, but it's 10 times, right? So you have 10 times of 1, 10 times of 2, 10 times of 3, 10 times of 4, right? Right, so 10 times you just add another 0 at the back of the 4, right? And 10 times of 5, you just add another 0 at the back of the 5, and this will give you 50. Okay, now, so the general rule that you have to remember is, so if you can see that from here, right? So 0 divided by 0 is 0, right? That's because 7 multiplied by 0 is 0, right? 0 divided by 1 is 0 because 1 multiplied by 0 is 0, right? Remember that the process of division is the reverse process of multiplication. So in the event that you cannot remember how to do division, what you can do is you take the 10, right? If you don't know what is 10, if you don't know what is 0 divided by 10, if you don't know what is 0 divided by 10, what you can do is you tell yourself, what is the number that when I multiply by 10 will give me 0? Well, of course, 10 multiplied by 0 gives me 0. So the answer is 0. So here we have 0 divided by 7 is 0, 0 divided by 1 is 0, right? And 0 divided by 10 is 0. Okay. Now, so the general rule is that 0 divided by any number is 0, right? You see 0 divided by any number is 0, right? Okay. Now, next, for 1, right, 8 divided by 1 is 8 divided by 1 is 8, right? This one, 9 divided by 1 is 9. So what can we say? Any number divided by 1 is the number itself, right? So if you have, let's say, any number divided by 1 is the number itself. So let's say I have 6 divided by 1, I will get 6, right? Any number divided by 1 is the number itself. So if I take 6 and divide by 1, I will get the number itself, which is 6. Okay, so lastly, what you need to know is the division involving 10, right? So you have 10 divided by 10 is 1, right? You realize this is because 10 multiplied by 1 is 10, right? Remember I said that division and multiplication, they are both reverse process. So 10 multiplied by 1, you will get 10, right? 20 divided by 10 is what? 20 divided by 10 is 2, because you realize 10 times 2 is 20. 30 divided by 10 is 3, because you realize 10 times 3 is 30, right? You do the process, reverse process of division, which is multiplication. So you have 10 times 3 is 30. Then you have 10 times 4 is 40, right? 40 divided by 10 is 4. You realize because when you take 10 times, right, 4, you get 40. Okay, so here, so this is important to know, right? The opposite of division is multiplication. It is important to know your multiplication tables in order for you to do division. Okay, so now we are going to move to the next one. We're going to do some practice on, on the division with 1, 0, and 10. So let's do the first one. So 5 divided by 1 is what? So let's go to the general rule, right? Let's go to the general rule. The general rule is, so the general rule is that, right, let's see. So any number divided by 1 is the number itself. So any number divided by 1 is the number itself. So the answer should be 5. Right, the answer should be 5 here. So let me write it down, 5. Let me go inside first. So the answer is 5. Okay. So what about divided by 10, right? So if you go back divided by 10. So if you see right here, you see all the number 10 divided by 10 is 1, 20 divided by 10 is 2, 30 divided by 10 is 3, 40 divided by 10 is 4, so 50 divided by 10 is 5, right? Because, right, 50 divided by 10 is 5, because 10 times 5 is 50. Okay, so what about 0 divided by 5? Let's go up to the general rule. So we have here 0 divided by any number is 0. So 0 divided by any number is 0. So 0 divided by 5 is 0. Alright, so the answer here is 0. Right, this one is, this one is basically this one. So 50 divided by 10 is 5. So 60 divided by 10 is 6. Right, because 10 times 6 is 60. Now what about this one? Right, if you don't know how to do this, remember that multiplication, division is the reverse of multiplication, right? So you can take 5 times 1. 5 times 1 is what? 5 times 1 is 5. Right? 1 times 0 is 0. Right? 10 times 4 is 40. Right? Right? So if you look at here, right? So if you look at the rule, right? 0, right, at the top, 0 divided by any number is 0. So 0 divided by any number is 0. 0 divided by 1 is 0. Right? And then you have 40 divided by 10. Here you also have 40 divided by 10 is 4. Right? Okay. So what about this one? So any number divided by 1 is the number itself, right? So any number divided by 1 is the number itself. So 8 divided by 1 is 8. 6 divided by 1 is 6. Right? Or you can just take 1 multiplied by 8. 1 to check, of course, your answer. 1 multiplied by 6 is 6. Okay, so we're done. Of course, this one you can check also, right? 5 multiplied by 1 is 5. And if you have 5 candies, share among 5 people, you will get, each people will get 1 candy. Okay, let's go on to the last few questions we have. So okay, so what is the answer for this one? So if we go to okay, so let's say look at here, right? So 0 divided by any number is 0, right? 0 divided by any number is 0, so you have 0 divided by any number is 0, right? Remember this. Then we go back, right? We go back, right? We go back and we see, we know that this answer has to be 0, right? Because 0 divided by any number is 0. That also means that this is also 0, right? 0 divided by any number is 0. So 0 divided by 2 is 0, 0 divided by 4 is 0, right? And 0 divided by 6 is 0, 0 divided by 7 is 0, right? You can do the reverse process. 2 times 0 is 0, 4 times 0 is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, 7 times 0 is 0 to check your answer. Okay, so the last one is, so this one is just, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 6 is 1, 8 divided by 8 is 1. Right, let's say you have 3 candies, you divide among 3 people, each person gets 1 candy. Okay, now what about this one? So this one is, I know that 70 divided by 10 is 7, because 10 times 7 is 70. 80 divided by 10 is 8, because 10 times 8 is 80. 90 divided by 10 is 9, right? Because 10 multiplied by 9 is 90. Any 0 divided by any number is 0, right? Because 10, right? And you can also check 10 times 0 is 0. So this is it for our revision. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this revision.